working less doesn't create the freedom that you expect because a lot of the times things are still coming back to you. You're still the bottleneck in the business. The freedom comes when you can take a vacation without your laptop, without your phone, and without worrying that things are going to come crashing down. There are all types of freedoms that you can have as a business owner, but most people start their business in order or in pursuit of two types of freedom: financial freedom and time freedom. When I talk about those types of freedoms, financial and time freedom, yes, okay, financial freedom is pretty obvious. You're no longer living paycheck to paycheck. You can do the things that you want to do with your money, whether it's going on a vacation, putting your kids in sports, buying a new car, going on a trip to Disney World. I've heard all of these reasons. So financial freedom just means that you have the money to spend on the things that you prioritize, you want to spend it on. Time freedom means that you're no longer bound by someone else's expectations of how you spend your time. You don't have to show up at a certain time. You don't have to miss important things for your family. You can spend the time, much like money, the way you want to spend it. Most business owners start their business knowing that it is going to require a lot of grit and determination, a lot of long hours. But once they get their business off the ground, once they have a proven business model, success, that's where they often get stuck because they don't realize that a shift is required. And so the mentality becomes, once I hire one more person, once I finish this project, once I reach X level of revenue, then I'm finally going to get the freedom I started this business for. And that shift is subtle. We get in this mode where we're used to working harder, longer hours, sacrificing dinners, working on the weekends. And it's not like there's an alarm going off saying, hey, now it's time to shift the way you lead your business. And so therefore the stuck just it's kind of like that the frog being boiled analogy, that you're in that water for so long you don't realize that certain conditions have changed that are going to allow you to have that financial and time freedom you started your business for in the first place, once you have a key shift in how you're leading the business. Okay, so working less doesn't create the freedom that you expect because a lot of the times things are still coming back to you. You're still the bottleneck in the business. The freedom comes when you can take a vacation without your laptop, without your phone, and without worrying that things are going to come crashing down. So a lot of people think if I work less, then I actually have freedom. But if you're mentally tied up in your business, then you don't really have the freedom that you're craving and that you really wanted when you started the business. Okay, so I said that freedom is about a shift. And what I really mean by that is every business owner wears three hats. You know, they're the ones who start off in daily operations doing everything. Then they hire someone and they start to manage people more. But then they're also that rudder of the ship that is directing where it goes. They're the ones who are identifying the priorities and what's the thing that we need to focus on now and providing that strategic direction. But what's interesting is when you're always putting out fires or you're managing people problems, that third role that I just talked about, where the rudder of the ship, the one that's creating that strategic direction, it can so easily get lost. So that's the shift I'm talking about, is bringing that role into perspective so that you're focusing more on the things that really only you can do as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, as the founder of your business. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who creates clarity. You're the one who identifies the priority. You're the one who helps people understand this is the framework in which we make decisions in our business. And so it's again, the thing that only you can do. And so that shift is required where you're becoming that visionary leader, the one who's creating clarity for everyone else so that they can all take ownership and fulfill your expectations, but you can also take a step back from being in the day-to-day, the daily grind. So when you're leading better, it means that you have more clarity. Like I said earlier, you have more clarity in your business. You can make decisions easier. You feel more confident about the things you're investing in, whether it's time, money, or even team members, like who your next hire is. You have confidence in those things because they align with where you're headed as a business, where you want to invest as a business, the things that you've identified as your priorities. So what does that look like day to day? Well, I'd actually zoom out and say, let's not look at the day-to-day. Let's look at what it looks like on a monthly basis, or what does it look like on a quarterly basis. It means that you're actually taking time out to identify those priorities, to make sure people are clear on their roles and the expectations that they have of you, to evaluate how have we done in the last quarter or the last month, and are we headed in the right direction. You're focused on, here's how I often describe it. In every business, there are $10 tasks, $100 tasks, $1,000 tasks, and $10,000 tasks. And so when we start our business, we're focused on those $10 and $100 tasks. They're important, they're necessary, but as you grow the business, you want to start to focus on the $1,000, $10,000 tasks. These are the things that are actually going to move the dial in your business. They're going to create more leverage and more results in your business with less sacrifice. Oh, I think that is a great question because leadership has been around, the term leadership has been around for so long, and we hear it on podcasts, we read it in business magazines or business books, but it does sound very corporate, and it's easy to think, nope, I've heard that before, that's not for me, that's not necessary at my size of business. And so we can, as business owners and entrepreneurs, we can easily dismiss it. But I think that's really short-sighted because leadership is where you actually get the leverage in your business. It's something that you do that actually multiplies your results. I think a lot of business owners don't realize the impact that their leadership has on their business, how they show up each day, how they make decisions each day, even on the life of their employees. It's not something maybe they've considered deeply, and so it's an overlooked or a missed opportunity. When someone steps into that leadership role, when they really embrace it, I see a sense of relief, a sense of calm, this piece of like, oh, now I know where to go. It's like before they were leading and they kind of knew the direction, like they knew they were headed north, but they didn't know exactly the next steps to take. Let me give you an example. So I worked with one business owner that had expanded their footprint. They had grown, they'd been around for about 10 years and they had grown into a bigger business, and it was exciting and it brought in more customers. That expansion brought in more customers. But what happened was this overwhelm for the business owner. He was pulled back in to the daily operations. There was a sense of chaos. And so once we worked together and I laid out, here are the various things you need to do in your business. And we worked together to understand where his business was and where he wanted to go. Well, then at the end of that, what he said was, I actually now I know all of the things that I need to do in my business. I have a roadmap and I know the steps I need to take. Now, it took some time to implement the things that we had discussed, but he felt that confidence and that peace of now I have the clear direction and I have, like I said, that roadmap knowing what are my next steps. So when you get clear on leadership, you no longer feel like you're flying blind or that you're guessing, just kind of taking a stab in the dark. In both big decisions and small decisions. Again, you have more of a compass that guides you in your business and the decisions you're making day in and day out. I would start to think about what are the decisions that I'm making right now that I no longer need to make. They're repeatable decisions. They're things that I have done day in and day out. And so now I can start to cross those off my list. They're not things that I need to continue to own. I could actually delegate them to someone, pass them off to someone, or say, we don't need to do this anymore because we've already cemented this in our business process. So I start to look at what types of decisions am I making? What do I need to keep around? What can I eliminate? And what can I delegate?